Okay, so last day we had discussed about the cost function uh, for the gradient descent algorithm. So today we will discuss the classification and logistic regression. Okay, by the name itself you can understand that classification means there are few data and we have to classify these according to their properties. So today we will go for binary classification problem where the binary classification for classification where y, that is output, belongs to 0 1, that is either 0 or 1. So we are considering two classes, one is 0, that is false, another is true class 1. Later we can find that we can extend this up to n classes, but here for the time being today we will discuss the binary classification problem. Okay, so here for a given x, that is ith x, as we have discussed previous, ith x, it is given, this value is given, we have to say that the corresponding class value yi is called the label, okay, for the training sample. So what does it means? Again, we are having a data set, say this. So there are a lot of properties of x, any record x, say x1, x2, dot dot xn, these are the properties or the features, and y is the class. So all these features values are given here, and as per the features this y is either 0 or 1. If 0, that means for these particular features this row, this data does not belongs to true class, and if this is 1, then for these features the x, that is ith x, belongs to the class 1. Okay, so this is the meaning. These are called the label of the data. Okay, right. So here you think that the output either is 0 or 1. There is no continuous value like linear regressions. So here we will say that this is the discrete valued function. So here we can say that y is a discrete valued function. Okay, so y is a discrete valued function. So here we are considering the hypothesis function h theta x as, I think all of you are aware about the sigmoidal function. So here we will consider the hypothesis function as g theta transpose x, which is equals to 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus theta transpose x, which is known as sigmoid function. Okay, so this g z is actually is defined as e to the power minus z, where it is called logistic or sigmoid function. Okay, so since we are using the logistic function, therefore this regression is known as logistic regressions, or we can say that this is a classification problem. Okay, right. So there is a very important and interesting property of this gz which we will use later. So let us find the derivative of this gz. So g dash z is equals to d dz of 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z. So as per the rule, what we can say, it will be 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z whole square, because minus 2, and since this is the function, therefore 1 plus e to the power 1 is constant and e to the power minus z. So this is the derivative of this. Now we can rearrange this value as 1 plus e to the power minus z minus 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z whole square. So here we can write this as 1 by, we can consider this 1 by e to the power minus z, and this is 1 minus 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus z. This is a very simple algebra, you can do it by yourself or check it. Okay, so this is equals to, you see this value is gz and this is 1 minus gz. So we can write g dash z, that is derivative of gz, is equals to gz into 1 minus gz. So this is a function whose derivative can be expressed by the function itself. Okay, so later we will use this value or this function when we will go for finding the maximality, right? Okay, so now we are having two level, one is 0, another is 1. So let us consider, let us assume the value that probability of y equals to 1, that is true class, for a given x where x is parameterized on theta. That is, we are having two classes, one is 1, that is y equals to 1, another is y equals to 0. So we are considering the probability of y equals to 1, that is true class, for a given x where x is parameterized on theta is equals to when the hypothesis function is true, that is h theta x. Okay, therefore the probability of false class y equals to 0 for a given x parameterized on theta is equals to obviously 1 minus h theta x. Okay, so now if we can generalize the probability function as the probability of y for a given x parameterized on theta is equals to h theta x to the power y into 1 minus h theta x to the power 1 minus y. Now check it, how this generalization can provide us this value. If y equals to 1, so h theta x 1, so probability of y equals to 1 for a given x theta equals to h theta x into 1 minus h theta x 1 minus 1 0, so this value is 1. Therefore we will get probability of y equals to 1 for a given x parameterized on theta is equals to h theta x. Similarly, when y equals to 0, the probability of y equals to 0 for a given x parameterized on theta is equals to h theta x to the power 0 1. So 1 minus h theta x to the power 1 minus 0 1. So this value is probability of y equals to 0 equals to 1 minus h theta x, right? So we can find the probability function as this. Now our task is to find the maximum value of this probability. That means it should be in one class. So let us assume that there are m training samples. Okay, m training examples are there, which are obviously independent, because all or everything whatever we are considering are following the normal distribution. So there are the values are training examples are independent of each other. So no one is influencing others, that is the main thing. Therefore we can write the likelihood function of the parameters, likelihood of the parameters as L theta is equals to the probability of y, that is the vector, for a given training set x which are parameterized on theta. Okay, so our likelihood function is the probability of the whole y vector for a given set of data x, okay, where all the x are parameterized on theta. So that we can write is equals to pi, again as previous, the product of all the probabilities of matching the likelihood. Okay, likelihood of x1, likelihood of x2, that is first data, second data, third data, and so on up to mth data. We will find the probability of the matching and we will multiply so that we can say that okay, h theta is this much of the probability of getting the correct value by using h theta is this. So this is the product of all the values I equals to 1 to m, the probability of ith y for ith x parameterized on theta. Clear? Okay. So we will just replace this value by this function, that is equals to I equals to 1 to m h theta x ith value to the power y to the power I 1 minus h theta x I to the power 1 minus y I. Okay, right. So again we are aware that if we apply derivative on this, it will be a very complicated term. So therefore apply log likelihood of the function. Okay, so whenever we will apply log likelihood, that is small l theta is equals to pi will become summation of yi log of h theta x plus, this is the term, y minus 1 minus yi into log of 1 minus h theta x. Okay, up to this I think it is clear, right? Now we will apply the derivative, that is we will find the gradient of this. So we are finding the gradient of L theta, which is equals to d theta over j. That is obviously we are finding the derivative of a particular parameter theta j, and it will be repeating. So L theta, now which is equals to, we are just for the simplicity we will replace this h theta x by theta transpose g theta transpose x, because we know this is the g function. Okay, is equals to y, we are doing for a single parameter or single data. Later we can go for summing this for I equals to 1 to m. So y log of h theta x means 1 by h theta x. So h theta x can be written as g theta transpose x, nothing else. Okay, so y derivative of log of this is equals to 1 by h theta x. Instead of writing h theta x, we are writing 1 by g theta transpose x, which is h theta x. Very simple. Minus 1 minus y log of this, that means 1 by 1 minus g theta transpose x. Now since the function is g theta transpose x, therefore it will be g dash theta transpose x, nothing else. Okay, and d theta of theta transpose x. Now see, the whole derivative is y into log of this, means this one 1 minus y, 1 by log of this, so 1 by 1 minus g theta transpose x. Now the g theta transpose x, the derivative is g dash theta transpose x, and since theta transpose x is the function, therefore d theta j of theta transpose x equals to, so if we make a simplification of this, we will get y into 1 minus g theta transpose x, okay, minus 1 minus y into G theta transpose X, this. Here we can write 1 by G theta transpose X into 1 minus G theta transpose X from here. And now see, G dash theta transpose X is also G theta transpose X and 1 minus G theta transpose X. Already you have got this from our previous derivative. Okay. And now think d theta j of theta transpose X is equals to X only, Xj. Because for all other X, you see, theta transpose X means theta 1 x1, theta 2 x2, theta 3 x3, dot dot theta j xj. So except d theta j, except theta j, all other values are 0. So d theta j of theta 1 is 0, d theta j of theta 2 is 0. So similarly, only one value will be equals to xj where the parameter is theta j. Therefore, from here we can get that the derivative of this is equals to this one. So here these two values will be cancelled. Therefore, we will get here, see, 1 y minus y g theta transpose x minus g theta transpose x plus y g theta transpose x into xg. So here we can get this value is equals to these two will be cancelled. So y minus g theta transpose x into xg. So the update rule, the stochastic, here also you see that the derivative of the log likelihood is same as our linear regression y minus g theta transpose x xj, but the variables are different. In linear regressions this value is continuous, but in logistic regression this y is a discrete value. So though the update function is same, but the variables are different. So we can write the stochastic gradient descent or ascent rule for the logistic regression is also theta j, that is new theta, is equals to old theta plus alpha, we know the learning rate, into the ith y minus h theta ith x multiplied by ith xj, this parameter. So the stochastic gradient descent rule for the logistic regression is also this. Okay, so by applying this we can update the parameters for the logistic regressions. So this is all about the update rule for classification. So if we follow this one, we can find the update rule for classification and we can get the classes. Okay. Now the thing is that how we can classify these two by update rule. Here the output values, we can say that this is perceptron learning rule algorithm, perceptron learning algorithm. It will be taught later by TP ma'am. Okay, perceptive learning rule, it will be taught in details. But here what we can say, output value, either we know we are having two classes, either 0 or 1. So we can say that gz is equals to 1 if z is greater or equals to 0 and 0 if z is less than 0. So now you can say that why we have used this sigmoid function for this classification rule, because if we plot, actually it always gives the positive values, that is the main thing. Okay, if we plot the sigmoid function, you will get a curve like this. Okay, for any value positive or negative, let this is 0, and this is -1, -2 and so on, and this is +1, +2 and so on. So if we will get all the values are positive. Okay. Now if we take a value that for all the values z, here if we say z and this is gz, if we say that for all the values z greater equals to 0, we will consider these values as the positive and these values are the negative. Then we can transfer this curve as like this, positive and negative. Okay, so either this class or this class. That's why we have considered the sigmoid function for the classification problem. Okay, so therefore as per the rule we can consider the classes if we get the gz value is greater equals to z, for greater equals to 0 then it is 1, if less than 0 then this is 0. Okay, so we can divide this into two classes, either 1 or 0. Therefore for any value h theta x equals to g theta transpose x, and the update rule is theta j equals to theta j plus alpha y minus h theta x xj, then it is called perceptron learning rule. Okay, so when we are considering this value as the hypothesis function and theta as this update rule, then we will say that this is the perceptron learning rule. Okay, right. Now the question is there any other optimization function that we can use except the derivative? Except derivative, is there any other rule for finding the maximum or minimum? That is here in this case obviously maximum likelihood, so our optimization problem is to find the maximum likelihood. Okay, so hope you can remember the Newton method for maximization. Newton method for maximizing, we can use the Newton method for maximizing L theta also, which is very useful. Okay, so here the update rule, all of you are aware that the update rule is equals to theta equals to theta minus, if the function is f theta, then the update rule is the theta minus function divided by the first derivative of the function. So how it works, hope you can remember. Say if let this is the curve, so this is giving the optimum minimization, so error is minimum here, therefore the likelihood is maximum, so epsilon is minimum. So we will start from a tangent, let this. Okay, so what we can do here, theta will be updated by theta minus f theta, if this is the function f theta. So f dash theta means tangent over this, so it will come here and we will touch this point here. Then again we will draw a tangent here, and if we move this up to the optimization, that is this value epsilon, that means after few iteration what we will get? We will get the tangent is touching this point, and here we will get the epsilon as the minimum. Okay, so this is Newton method, or better we can say that this is Newton-Raphson method for finding the optimizations. Those who are interested, just go through the numerical problem or any book that for numerical solutions. Okay, just check it once. But the thing is that if I draw the tangent, we will get f theta by f dash theta, and just we go for iterations, few iterations, we will get that this is touching this point, and after few iterations we will get the minimum value. So which is known as Newton method, and the generalization formula is known as Newton-Raphson method. Okay, so here since our maximization problem is L dash theta, so our target is to find the maximum value of L dash theta. Therefore, in Newton's method, the update rule will be equals to theta equals to theta minus L dash theta by L double dash theta. Okay. So by Newton-Raphson method, we can say that the update rule will be theta equals to theta minus L dash theta by this, right? Now, the generalization of Newton methods, which is known as Newton-Raphson method, we can write this value is equals to theta minus H inverse delta L theta. This equation is the generalization of Newton method, and this is known as Newton-Raphson method. Okay, right? For multi-dimensional setting, this is for single dimension we have used here. For multi-dimension, we have to use the Newton-Raphson method, and that is the update formula is theta equals to theta minus H inverse delta L theta, where H is an n cross n matrix. Okay, H is an n cross n matrix which is known as Hessian matrix, whose entries are given as d2 L theta by del theta I del theta j. Think about this is a matrix, so all the inputs are like this, where this is d2 L theta del theta I, that is ith row and jth column. So this value, let this is, so this one is 1 2 1 2 second row third column. So this is d2 L theta d theta 2 d theta 3. Okay, so this is a Hessian, this matrix is known as Hessian, and this is known as theta equals to theta minus H inverse this one. Okay, this method is also known as Fisher scoring method. This method is also known as Fisher scoring method. Please keep remember. So here for the classification we have learned two methods. One is by using derivative of gz, this function. So where the update rule is this one, theta j plus alpha. This is the update rule, which is known as Perceptor-Darling rule. And if we apply the Newton-Raphson methods for the update rule, then the update rule is theta equals to theta minus Hessian inverse del L theta. Okay, this method is also known as Fisher scoring method. This is known as Newton-Raphson method. Also, it is known as Fisher scoring method. Okay. So in the next class, we will discuss the generalized linear models and so on. Okay.